Hello guys, today we're going to be doing a video on Cyberpunk using the GTX 1050 Ti. Today we're going to be testing out the FSR 2.0 mod that is available for Cyberpunk. It's pretty early access, it's not finished yet. We can still try it out and see how it runs and how it looks compared to FSR 1.0. And how this works is that it basically takes over the DLSS setting in the game. So you basically adjust the DLSS setting and that is actually your FSR 2.0 setting. We're going to start it off with 1080p on the high preset. I chose high preset because it's a very intensive game, so I want to make it as difficult as possible for the GPU, so we can actually see the differences between FSR, the FPS differences, and the visual differences as well. Alright, let's jump into it. Alright, starting it off without FSR, we're running it how it would run without any improvements. We're getting 20 FPS. The game doesn't look the best, surprisingly. Some weird graphical issues right now. Could be a VRAM issue because we are running at the high preset, and VRAM is basically maxed out. We're sitting at 3.9 gigs out of 4. So I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, this is our control test, so we can actually go ahead and move on to FSR 1.0, which is what comes with the game. FPS is doing much better. We're sitting at 30 FPS instead of 20, so we're getting 10 FPS pretty much. But as you can see, on that blue building on the right with the yellow stripe, it's actually bugging out quite a bit. Car looks slightly blurry. It's not too major though. All the buildings in the distance though look very blurry. Like this area here looks really bad. I'm gonna sit here. It's very blurry and it's very hard to spot anything pretty much. It's like, wow. FPS falls down below 30 here to 25. Alright, let's go ahead and actually enable FSR 2.0 now. And we're going to be using the highest preset, which is the quality preset. Wow, look at the quality difference. This looks almost like native. It's very close. But we do get the bugginess at the blue building still. But I guess that's an FSR issue. FPS is about the same, getting 29, 30 FPS. Very similar, so it's not really that important. The game still does have some blurriness to it, but it's not as bad as what it was before with FSR 1.0. Okay, get away from me. This guy's stuck to my car. Alright, let's go ahead and play at low settings. I want to get 60 FPS and see how it looks with both FSR settings. Alright, using the low preset FSR set to balanced, we're almost at 60, not quite, so let's go ahead and bring it down some more. We're pretty much at 60 FPS right now, but as you can see, this is super blurry. Car is very blurry as well. That car in the distance is insanely blurry as well. Let's drive a little bit. And we fall down into the 50s anyway. GPU is fully maxed out. Basically can't see anything in front of you. It's very blurry. Alright, now using FSR 2.0 set to performance, you can see the image quality is way cleaner. Obviously there's going to be some blurring since we're playing at 1080p, but you can actually see the car in the distance over there. Our FPS is a bit lower than what it was before, sitting in the low 50s instead of the high 50s, but the image quality is way better. But we are getting some ghosting behind the car. Alright, we're playing the game at 1440p now, low settings, not running any FSR setting. Just running at native, and the game looks pretty good. It looks pretty sharp. Now, if I was going to guess, I would say that the FPS gap, not the FPS gap, the FSR gap would be a lot higher at 1440p and 4K, since it would allow us to push the FSR setting all the way up to performance and ultra performance, while keeping the game looking good as well. This gives us 40 FPS, and this basically looks like we're playing on the quality / balance preset for FSR 1.0 at 1080p. There's a lot of blurring in the distance. Car looks decent, but the major issue with FSR 1.0 is how stuff looks in the distance. But this is definitely playable at this point. We are getting above 30 FPS. Might be kind of difficult to aim, but definitely is playable at this point. Game looks insanely clear. That's crazy how good this looks. We obviously get the trailing again behind the car, but the car itself looks sharp enough, and the objects in the distance look decently in focus. I feel like there's some blurring still, but it's not as bad as what we had at FSR 1.0. I'll be doing a side-by-side comparison in a second as well. Playing at 4K now, we're going to be using the Ultra Performance FSR 1.0, because anything below that, we're going to fall below 30. At that point, it's very unplayable. And we're getting the same issue of like a lot of blurriness. It's basically the same story, you know? If you want to play at 4K and have it be playable, you gotta pretty much max out FSR. And you lose all your image quality, to be honest. It's not playable at this point. The only benefit that I've seen with FSR 1.0 is there's no trailing behind the car. Do we have trailing? Oh, we still do get the trailing. Yeah, there it is. I just see it. It's very minor. Alright, now playing with Ultra Performance FSR 2.0, the mod, we can't hold 30 FPS, even though it's maxed out. But you can see the image quality is way better. And the ghosting is far more obvious with this. It's actually gotten worse at 4K. Look at that. That's kind of funny. Wow, it's gotten worse at 4K. Yeah, 4K I think it's pretty unplayable, to be honest, with the mod. But if you're playing at 1440p and 1080p, it's definitely worth using. Alright, I think that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, hopefully found it useful. If you did, give it a like, and sub the channel, I'd appreciate it as well. See you next time.